Iran has further increased its stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels, defying international demands. The information revealed in a confidential report by the International Atomic Energy Agency known as the IAEA and obtained by the Associated Press. The report states Iran has 363 pounds of uranium that's enriched up to 60%, which is an increase of 50 pounds in just 3 months. The IAEA says 92.5 pounds of uranium enriched to 60% is the amount at which creating an atomic weapon is theoretically possible if the material is enriched even further to 90%. The agency's chief has previously warned that Iran has enough uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels to make several nuclear bombs. Again, a lot of information there, so to help kind of explain what any of that means, I do want to bring in Stephen Biegalski, the chair of Nuclear and Radiological Engineering and Medical Physics program at the Georgia Institute of Technology. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning and explain some of those results there.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for having me this morning.
Of course. Well, first off, can you kind of break down some of those findings and what they really say about the situation overall?
Yes, this is a continuation of a trend that we've seen with Iran and their continual progression towards the development of nuclear weapons. We see the continual defiance against international expectations, and these are just further steps along that path.
So over 3 months, the IAEA says that Iran went from about 50 pounds under 363 and is now up to 363. So what does that say to you overall? Is that overly concerning?
Well, it is concerning in that the trends are towards weaponization within Iran. It's also very concerning given our current tensions between Iran and Israel. As we see that situation unfolding, there, of course, are fears of further escalation, and incorporation of nuclear weapons within that escalation is not desirable.
Uranium enriched up to 60%. I said it a lot right before I brought you in. What does that mean? Is that really close to weapons grade level?
It's closer than the uranium that we pull out of the ground. Enrichment is really the weight fraction within the uranium of uranium-235. So uranium-235 is the fissile isotope of uranium that's particularly special and that really significantly enables the fission process and is, I guess, what we define as fissile. Natural uranium has an enrichment of about 0.7%. Research reactors may have enrichments up to 20%. Commercial reactors have enrichments of about 5 or 6%. So the 60% that we see Iran going to is significantly above what we would see nominal commercial or medical isotope production type of ranges for reactors. It's not quite at the 90% level, as you had mentioned, but it's just stepping closer. And the concern is it's time. It's how far and how much effort and how much energy would it take for Iran to get from where they are now to have the amount of fuel in the enrichment that they would need to make a weapon. And so we see these as just steps closer and closer to that edge.
We know that all of this is kind of coming about because of that confidential report that was put out by the IAEA. Do we know how they go about getting their information? Does Iran just hand it over?
With that report, as you said, it's confidential, so I do not know exactly how that information comes out. However, the IAEA does have a number of paths for obtaining information. They do have inspectors that will go to Iran. However, those inspectors have been banned from inspecting facilities in recent times. They also have things like cameras and tamper-proof seals and other forms of information. But given the nature of that report that just came out, I can't tell you exactly how that information was obtained.
There's been international demands for Iran to stop increasing that stockpile of the uranium. So does it appear that Iran is listening to any of that or keeping it in mind at all?
I definitely believe that Iran hears, but they also defy those words of encouragement from the international community. We see that they're not going to the level of weapons grade uranium. So that means that they're very cognizant of the lines within the international safeguards community. However, they're defiant in the sense that they keep taking steps closer and closer to that weaponization of their material.
Why should people out there who are watching this right now, the average American person, why should they be paying attention to all of this as it develops?
Well, of course, introduction of nuclear weapons into current tensions within that region is a concern for all of us, right? We see escalations. We've seen attacks that Iran has had on Israel. And if we were to look at the use of nuclear weapons or the capabilities of nuclear weapons within those conflicts, it really does change the game.
All right, Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and help make sense of all of that. Obviously, a lot of information, so we definitely appreciate it. Anything else you want to add about any of this before I let you go?
Well, what we'd like to see is continued pressure from the international community. This is a major concern for all of us. And I think that we would like to give encouragement to the IAEA for their continued efforts along these fronts.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.